Good day, viewers. I have these two mathematics WAEC questions that are very, very important and interesting. That if I share with you, you will find it so interesting. Please don't forget, after watching this video, share it to your internet colleague, your friends, your relatives, your brothers and sisters, because it will be of help to them. These questions are very, very simple, but in one way or the other, you might find it difficult. But these questions are very, very simple. There is one thing to understand questions, and there is one thing to know the approach in using to solve that questions. So we have two mathematics why questions here. The first one says, question 1 is if uh, 3 minus x into bracket 6, 7 minus 5x into bracket are consecutive terms of a geometric progression with constant ratio of r greater than 0. First, find value of x. Second, find constant ratio. That is question 1 part A. Question 1 part B says, in the diagram AB, line segment AB is equal to 3 centimeter. Line segment BC is equal to 4 centimeter. Line segment CD is equal to 6 meter. And DA equals to 7 centimeter. Calculate angle ADC, correct to the nearest degree. So this is the diagram. But let's also read another question, because I said we have two mathematics questions. And another question here is question 2 says, A, solve 7x plus 4 less than 4x plus 3 into bracket. And B, Salem, Sunday and Shaka shared a sum of 1,100 naira. For every 2 naira that Salem gets, Sunday gets 50 kobo. And for every 4 naira Sunday gets, Shaka gets 2 naira. Find Shaka's share. So we are going to start solving this straight away from question 1. So this is question 1. So we are going to start solving it now. So question 1A. Question 1A. Question 1A says, if we have these terms, I've read those questions already. So let's just quickly go into solving. But in any geometry progression given, the series, the number of terms given, the consecutive terms given, if you want to find the common ratio in that geometry progression terms, what you do is you divide a particular term by the preceding term to get the common ratio. So if you divide 6 by 3 minus x, what you get will be the same as 7x minus 5x divided by 6. And that is the common ratio. Because if you divide 6 by 3 minus x, you will definitely get the common ratio. And if you divide this by 6 as well, you get the same common ratio. But how do we find the common ratio here? First, what you do, you form an equation. So if you now said 6, divided by 3 minus x is equals to 7 minus 5x divided by 6. Remember, I told you that this is a common ratio, and the common ratio of a geometric progression is constant. That is, it's the same. So if you divide this by this, the result you get is the same dividing this by this. So that is why we are able to form this equation like this. Now, we want to find the common ratio. How do we find the common ratio? What you do, you first find the value of x, and then you'll be able to substitute it here to find what is here and what is here. And from there, you'll be able to divide this by this, and then you get the value of common ratio. So now solving this, if you cross multiply this, what you have is let's say this cross multiplying this, you have 3 minus x into bracket 7 minus 5x is equals to this times this, which is 6 times 6. Don't forget, what is here is x. So now, this times this, you have 3. You have 3 times 7, you have 21. You have 21. 3 times this, you have minus 15x. Then x times 7, you have minus 7x. And minus x times minus 5x, you have plus 5x squared. 6 times 6, you have 36. So now, if you rearrange this equation now, you have 5x squared minus 15x minus 7x. What you have is 20 minus 22x, and then 21 plus 21, which is equals to 36. So now 5x squared minus 22x plus 21. If you move this to this side, it will now come with minus 36 to this side, which is equals to 0. So you now have 5x squared minus 22x. 21 minus 36, you have minus 15. Which is equals to 0. And you discover that this has led us to a quadratic equation. Now, which method should we use to solve this quadratic equation? We have 3 methods of solving quadratic equation. We have general method, we have factorization method, we have completing square method. But I want us to use completing square method because it's a method that is forgotten, that people don't like using it. But me, I want to use it here so that you guys we know we use completing square method to solve quadratic equation. So now, if you want to arrange this quadratic equation in such a way that you can use completing square method, you say 5x, you divide both sides. Let's arrange it first. You have 5x squared minus 22x, which is equals to 15. So if you have 15, so as you now arrange it like this, you now divide it both sides by 5. So if you divide this both sides by 5, you discover that this will cancel this, and you have x squared minus 22x all over 5, which is equals to 15 divided by 5. What you have is 3. So now, you have arranged this in such a way that you can use completing square method to solve it. So now you find the half of this 22, the half of this, the coefficient of x here. You find the half of it, you square it and add to both sides. So if you do that, you have x squared minus 22x all over 5x plus 22 all over 10 bracket square. Remember, this is the half of our 22 all over 5. Because if you multiply 1 all over 2 by this, you have 22 all over 10. So remember, you square it and add to both sides. You have 3 plus 22 all over 10 square, just like you add to both sides. So now, but don't forget, what is here, this is still the same as this, because if you move this 22 all over 10 square to both this side, it will come with minus and it will eliminate this. You end up still having something like this. So remember, it's still the same thing. Still the same thing. And this, don't forget, is also the same as this. It's also the same as this. So now, let's further. If you now factorize this, you discover that x minus 22 all over 10 into bracket square is equals to 3 all over 1 plus 3 over 1 plus 22 square. 22 square. What is 22 square? 22 square. 22 square, you get 484 dividing by 10 square, you have 100. So now what you have here now will be you find the LCM first. The LCM is 100. So 1 coming to 100, 100 times 3, you have 300. Then plus 100 coming to 100, 1 times this, you have 484. So you will definitely now have something of this nature. You now have something of this nature. That means x minus 22 all over 10 square is equals to 300 plus 480. You have 784, not 840. So you now have 784 divided by 100. So now you discover that if you take square root both sides, if you take square root both sides, divided by 100. If you take square root both sides, you discover that this square will go this side and it will come here. So you now have something of this nature. You have the root of 784 is same thing as 28, and the root of 100 is same thing as 100. It's the same thing as 10. So you have plus or minus because of this root. So don't forget, x is now equals to either plus 28 all over 10 plus 22 all over 10 or minus 28 all over 10 plus 22 all over 10. So what you have is x will now be equals to, when you add this together, you have 40, you have 50, and 50, you have something of this nature. You have 50 divided by 10. And when you add this together, you have minus 28 plus 22. What you have is a minus 6. So that means x is equals to 5 or minus 3 all over 5. You are find the value for x now. So what else will you do? You now go and find the what this value stands for. You can now find the common ratio. Without wasting time, our common ratio is equals to what? Is equals to 6 divided by 3 minus x. And our x is what? Our x could be 5 and it could be minus 3 all over 5. But remember, from the question, they said the common ratio is greater than 0. That means the common ratio could not be minus 1. It cannot be in minus. So, and if you now substitute 5 here, at the end of the day, what you get here will definitely be in minus, of which is not acceptable. So what you now substitute is minus 3 all over 5. If you do that, 6 divided by 3 minus bracket minus 3 all over 5, you definitely have 6 all over 3 plus 3 all over 5. So R now will be equals to 6 all over, R will be 6 all over 5. 1 coming to 5 times. 5 times this, you have 15 plus 3, which is something as 6 all over 18 all over 5. So if we multiply this like this, you have, if you know what is rational number stand for, you now have something like this: 5 all over 18. So if you multiply this, what you have will definitely be 6 times 5. 6 times 5, you have 30 dividing by 18. You have 30 dividing by 18. Then 2 come here how many times? 2 come here 15 times, and it come here 9 times. So you have your R to be 15 all over 9. And this, you can still divide further because 3 can come into 15. 15 and 3 come into 15 how many times? 3 come into 15 5 times. And it comes into 9 3 times. So this is the common ratio. This is the common ratio here. That is the answer for that question A, part A. Question 1, part A. That is the answer for it. Now, question B. Question 1, part B says, in this diagram that is drawn here, let's just draw it. The diagram says this size is 7 centimeter, and from here to here from here to here is 4 centimeter here. Then by cos here. First, from here to here, this is A, this is D, this is C, and this is B. So now, it said here from C to D is 6 centimeter. And then from A to B is 3 centimeter. It's 3 centimeter. Now, they're asking us to find this angle ADC. Find angle ADC. This ADC. So, but this is very simple because it's something I see it as not stressing yourself to find this angle, because if you go further to construct this angle here, if you go to further to construct this angle here, goes further to construct this shape like this, you discover that this is angle 90. This is angle 90. This is also angle 90. This is also angle 90. And don't forget, if you construct this like this, you discover that if this BC is 4 centimeter, it means from C here, let's say here is F. So from C to F will definitely be 3 centimeter, because 7 minus 4, you get the remaining part of this. That means from here, let's say here is N. So from here, from here, from N to D is 3 centimeter. And they said this from A to B is 3 centimeter. That means from N to C is still the same, 3 centimeter. So you discover that this side and this side are equal. And you know, this is an angle. So any angle of our two sides equal is an isosceles triangle, and the basis angles are equal as well. That means this angle is equal to this angle. And don't forget, this is angle 90. This is angle 90. So if we have two angles here that are equal, if we have two angles here that are equal, if we have this angle equal to this angle, it means if we sum this together, the angles in a triangle, we end up having something of this nature. Assuming we have 90 plus 2 ADC. Let's say we have 2 ADC. Then is equals to 180. Because hence these two angles are equal. That is why we have 2 ADC, because this angle is ADC. And we have this is equal. So the two angles are equal. That means that is why we have 2 ADC. So if you now make this the subject of the formula, 2 ADC will be equals to 180 minus 90. So 2 ADC will definitely be equals to 90 here. You have 90 here, because 180 minus 90 is 90. So LDC, if we now be equals to 90 divided by 2, because you divide both sides by 2, and what you get will definitely be equals to 45 degree. So this angle is 45 degree. This angle is 45 degree. And don't forget, this side also is 45 degree. So if you add these two together, you get 90 degree, because the whole of this angle is 90 degree, and that is how it's supposed to be. That is the correct answer for that question. It's very, very simple. Let's move to question 2 now. Question 2 says, solve 7x plus 4 is less than 4x plus 3. So this is question 2a. Solve 7x plus 4 less than blanket 4x plus 3. So that means you have 7x plus 4 now less than any blanket that is like this without any number outside. Know that 1 is outside, and if you multiply 1 by this, you have 4x plus 3, because this is how we open the bracket. Then you collect like them, 7x minus 4x less than 3 minus 4, because this 4 will come this side, and this 4x will come this side. So you have 3x less than minus 1. And then if you divide both sides by 3, this will cancel itself here. X will now be equals to x will now be less than, not equals to, less than minus 1 all over 3. So that is the answer for question 2a. That is the answer for question 2a. Now, let's find the answer for question 2b, which says, the answer for question 2b says, Salem, Sunday, and Shaka shared a sum of 1,000 naira and 1,100 naira. For every 2 naira that Salem gets, Sunday gets 50 kobo. And for every 4 naira Sunday gets, Shaka gets 2 naira. Find Shaka's share. So let's just analyze these questions in this way. So now let's set Salem, Sunday, and then we have Shaka. So let's arrange it in this manner. Let's analyze these values. So they said they shared a sum of 1,100 naira, and they said for every 2 naira that Salem gets, that is, if Salem gets 2 naira here, then Sunday we get 50 kobo. And what is if you convert kobo, 50 kobo to naira, what will you have? But remember that 100 kobo is equals to 1 naira. So if you have 50 kobo and you want to convert it to naira, that means 50 kobo is half of 1 naira. And half of 1 naira is same thing as 0.5 naira. So now they went further to say that and for every 4 naira Sunday gets, Shaka gets 2 naira. So that means if Sunday gets 4 naira now, Shaka will now get 2 naira. But remember here, if you look at this presentation, you discover that 0.5 is half of 2 naira. 0.5 naira is quarter of 2 naira. Quarter of 2 naira. That is, if you multiply 0.5 by 4, you have 2 naira. So that means this value here, 4 naira you have here, is the quarter of Salem share here now. So when Sunday get 4 naira, Salem will definitely have 4 times of what Sunday gets. So if you multiply 4 by 4 here, what you have here is 16. So that means when Sunday get 4 naira, Salem will get 16 naira. In another way around, you can also use ratio to find this, because assuming here is x and you have to cross multiply, and at the end of the day you find um, x the subject of the formula, you'll be able to get 16. There are so many ways you can do this. So like now, you can find the value of a shaka when Sunday gets 0.5 as well, because they say when Sunday gets 4 naira, shaka will get 2, which is the half. So that means the half of 0.5 will be 0.25. Don't forget, you can also use another approach by using the ratio, by saying here is x, and then when you cross multiply, you find the value for x. So now, these are the way they share this money. They share this money in this ratio. They share this money in this ratio. They share the money in the ratio 16 is to 4 is to 2. So by looking at this, you discover that the major share here will be 16 followed by 4, then 2. That is the person that will carry the major share is Salem. The second person that will carry this major share is Sunday, and then the last person, and Shaka. And they ask us to find the share of Shaka. So definitely, if you want to find the share in this, let's find the total number of this ratio. You discover that 16 plus 4 plus 2 is equals to 22. Then Shaka's share now. Shaka's share will definitely be 2 all over 22 times 100, which is equals to 100 naira. 22 times, not 100 alone, sorry. 22 times 1100. So